Have you ever felt like everything is on you? Like no matter how strong you are, it is just too much? That was Moses. Thousands of people complaining and depending on him. And for the first time, Moses broke down in tears and shouted, "They are too heavy for me." Now, let us see what God did next. That changed everything. All these things started when the Israelites complained of hunger. God gave them manna which they ate. Peace returned in the camp. People were happy. Not too long, the desert was loud again. Not with celebration, but with complaints. Voices rising across the camp. Frustration spreading from tent to tent. Families stood at their entrances, weeping. Not because they had nothing, but because they wanted something else. "We want meat. We are tired of this manna." And just like that, the tension returned. Thousands of people with one leader. All eyes turned to Moses again. Moses stood there, listening, not to one voice, but thousands. Anger, frustration, blame. And this time, it did not just pass over him. It stayed. You could see it in his face. The weight of the complaints. This type of pressure was more than just leadership. So, when Moses could not bear it anymore, he stepped away, slowly, away from the noise, away from the crowd, into the quiet desert, and there, something real happened. Moses cried out to God, "Why me? Why give me all these people to carry? I cannot do this alone." You can hear it. He was not being dramatic. He was exhausted. This is the same man who stood before Pharaoh, who stretched his staff over the sea, and now, he felt like he could not go on. But God did not ignore him. He listened, and then he responded, with a solution. "I will give them meat. They would not trouble you about this again." God rained quails like water. They ate meat and enjoyed themselves. Then God said to Moses, "Gather 70 elders, men who are respected among the people, those who have consecrated themselves. Bring them to the tent of meeting, and I will take from your spirit and anoint them, so that you will share the burden with them." Finally, Moses felt some reliefs, and he did not have to carry the load alone. Moses returned to the camp, not overwhelmed this time, focused. He quickly took off and began to call the leaders, men known among the people, trusted and holy men, respected and consecrated. One by one, they stepped forward. 70 men were chosen. You could feel it. Something was changing. The elders gathered together, walking across the desert, following Moses. The tent of meeting stood ahead, and behind them, the camp watched. They were curious and quiet. What was about to happen? Then, the sky shifted. A cloud formed, dark, but not empty, full of God's presence. It moved slowly, descending over the tent. The air changed. It was still, heavy and emitting an anointing. God was present. Moses stood there. The elders were beside him. And then, it happened. God took of the spirit that was on Moses and placed it on them. You could see it. You could feel that it was heavy. They began to speak. Not ordinary words. Something deeper. They were empowered, changed. And in that moment, Moses was not alone anymore. But then, something unexpected. 2 men, Eldad and Medad, were still in the camp, and they began to prophesy too. A young man ran quickly to Moses. Joshua says to Moses, "Stop them." Joshua, the loyal assistant, was concerned. This should not be happening, but Moses responded differently. "Are you jealous for me? I wish all God's people had his spirit. I wish all God's people were prophet." That moment revealed his heart. This was not about control. It was about God working through people. The camp changed. Where there was chaos, there was now structure. Where there was pressure, there was now support. The elders began helping Moses, guiding and leading God's people. For Moses, he stood back, watching the elders as they performed their duty, not overwhelmed anymore, but at peace. Here is the truth. Even the strongest leaders have limits. Even the most faithful people can feel overwhelmed. But God never intended for us to carry everything alone. Sometimes, The answer is not more strength. It is shared responsibility. Moses thought he had to carry it all, but God showed him something better. You do not have to do this alone. So maybe the real question is, what are you carrying that you were never meant to carry by yourself? If this story spoke to you, do not scroll past it. Like this video if you have ever felt overwhelmed. Comment, what is something you have been carrying alone? Share this with someone who needs this reminder, and do not forget to subscribe. Because more stories are yet to come. They are not just history. They are lessons for right now.